Okay, so today on Low Level TikTok Drama, we're going to be discussing this creator, a mum creator called Alexandra Sabol. But people just end up calling her Alex. I think that's what she wants to be known as.
Who are you to me?
Oh, me? I'm Daddy. What's up?
And she is a mum that you've probably already seen over on TikTok. The mum who plates up her 1-year-old, 2-year-old's food and then like chucks the plate at the camera, or like powdered donut gate, that one. She's literally just like getting powdered donuts out of a bag and then giving it to her kid for breakfast, or the oil glug, or I don't know, fried butter with the cheese.
And it's just in butter.
Alright, come on, Bella, out the kitchen. Yeah. Don't you even think about it.
And here's her lunch.
Many different TikToks that she's done that has either sparked outrage amongst TikTokers or people who are going, "You're doing a great job, sweetie. You're doing fine. Fed is best." Started showing us what her child was eating when they were about 1. A lot of people have been stitching it. And a lot of people have actually been doing parodies of it, where you have people with like the glasses that are kind of coming off and the really aggressive throw. She knows and she plays into it. Those videos get the most amount of views. I'm going to be completely honest, most of the people that are viewing her page are saying that she's doing a great job. Now, I'm going to try and reserve all my thoughts and feelings till the very end. Otherwise, I feel like we're never going to push through this. Well, even Abby Sharp chimed in on this, like Abby Sharp, the dietitian, who I have my own thoughts and feelings towards her anyway. Recently watched a video from Michelle McDaniel, who was formerly known as Thoughts Will Probably Offend You. I've literally followed her for such a long time. But I was watching her video and she gave some really interesting and, needed stats on, child obesity and how much sugar children should be having, to work out, does this warrant people getting so guns blazing with this woman with the powdered donuts?
It's not that he was doing anything wrong, it's just...
I don't have any eggs. And I'm sick. I'm not going to the store. So we're going to wing it.
It's actually a quote from a newspaper article where she's saying, "I kept seeing these pretty mum influencers who feed their kids organic food in pristine kitchens and I felt alone. I wanted to make content for mums who feed their kids like I do, who aren't super skinny. I wanted to be relatable and transparent as a mum." She then goes on to say the feedback on her new video was extreme mum shaming and weight shaming. She says, "Sabol says her children typically eat a balanced diet and that comments suggesting they are predisposed to obesity bite." I'm just gonna lay it out like really quite bluntly, which is actually something Michelle McDaniel, she was pointing out as well, is that statistically, if one of your parents is obese, you have, as a child, a 50% chance of becoming an obese adult. And if 2 grown-ups are obese, you have an 80% chance. Those are statistics. She can get offended by it, but unfortunately, they are the stats. I was bullied throughout school and I never had a lot of friends. I'm used to hate comments, but it bothers me when people directly attack my kids. I delete those comments. She used to show her kids a hell of a lot more than what she does. She kind of flip-flops in between. As you know, on this channel, I don't agree with having children put out on the internet in that kind of way. She also uses her kids as a form of, validation. So I found this TikTok where people had an issue with the pancakes that Alex was feeding her child because they weren't homemade. They were basically like this little tiny processed pancakes that we do see about quite a lot. She'll like probe her daughter for answers. Her daughter is not going to understand why the internet is annoyed about her pancakes.
They didn't like that I gave you pancakes and cereal for breakfast.
Why?
I don't know. What do you think?
You do like breakfast.
They do like breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they were mean about mommy giving you pancakes and cereal for breakfast this morning. They didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know why.
Why not, Book?
Raw.
She's eating pancakes right now.
Why didn't they like that I gave you pancakes?
because they don't like them.
And I just find that interaction really quite sad. Alex is not the only adult in this house. Alex is with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend and her have a girlfriend. So there's 3 people living in that house. She calls it a throuple. Yeah, definitely not for me. I could not. I'm a one person gal. I couldn't do it, but I do know that those kind of that does exist. I am aware.
Oh, me? I'm daddy. What's up?
I have a boyfriend. Matter of fact, I have a girlfriend too.
Hi.
Someone said there was no way I had a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend and a
Oh, are
girlfriend.
you jealous because you can't pull 2 bitches at the same time?
Hidden backstory behind that is that she split up with the boyfriend that is in the house, and then within a day or 2 he'd come back and said, oh, can we be in a throuple with this other woman who he I think used to be in a relationship with. So there are 3 adults living in that house, but we only ever see Alex dishing up the food.
I'm the one who brought up to Jamie, what about a throuple? Because I've heard of them, but never thought about doing it. So then we brought it up to this lovely person, and she's like, well, we can do that.
He didn't cheat on me with her, y'all. He didn't cheat on me. They weren't even talking until we broke up, and they were talking as friends. They weren't like, oh, we're gonna get married or anything like that.
Shit. Sorry.
I'm going to go through some comments because the comments may actually surprise some of you guys. So someone says on one of her videos, can someone explain the difference between giving kids donuts for breakfast versus pancakes with syrup? Or cereal, Pop-Tarts, toaster strudel. I was raised on those in 90s. I made it out just fine with maybe just a sweet tooth. And this person then points out, hence the diabetic pandemic. Just because you made it out okay and just because you were fed on that diet and you didn't have any health implications doesn't mean that you can then ignore the millions of other people who are now suffering with, issues into their adulthood from being fed a diet with this kind of stuff. I think people take the fed is best so literally. So none of you have ever given your kids donuts for breakfast. One of my fave memories as a kid is my dad getting us fresh Krispy Kreme donuts. Straight up, it's because they would rather see dead children than fat children. They only care about kids that fit their definition of what is socially acceptable. And when I read that comment, I wanted to bang my head against the table. I would also just like to point out as well is that the boyfriend and girlfriend that also live there do not work. I'm not saying that I'm shaming everyone in the household for not working. That's not it at all. But a lot of people wonder why is Alex the only one that's doing things? I managed to find a Reddit thread for this. So I think I found this over on the Reddit thread. Do your boyfriend and girlfriend have their own income? I told her she could quit to focus on her mental health because it is so important. I do not mind being the sole provider. Do your boyfriend and girlfriend have jobs to help with expenses? They don't. I explain up above why not. I hope this helps. Obviously you can have mental health struggles and things, but all 3 of them seemingly not working. Alex now gets money from doing this TikTok, and basically how she makes money is by rage baiting what she feeds her kids. So all in all, I do find it a bit of a sad / strange situation.
Be a grown-ass adult and take accountability. Hold people accountable because you can do better. I know she can do better. She has a boyfriend and a girlfriend, okay? You have help. And all 3 of y'all are feeding this child. And it goes on in a lot of households. And I know it does because when I grew up, I was being fed crap. And it took a toll on me. In a sense where it's very difficult when you get older to grow out of those habits, those bad habits.
Now, what didn't help this situation, right, is that we then have dietitian Abby Sharp, who then came into the picture. And I have my own thoughts and feelings towards Abby. Basically came on and she said this.
Party on Donut Gate, but I'm your no BS dietitian and I need to say my piece. Mom, you're doing a great job. Your sweet girl here has been given some energy to start her day. Sadly, that is more than we can say for a lot of other kids. 1 in every 5 kids, or 13 million kids in America, are facing hunger, which means going to school and trying to learn with no breakfast at all. Donuts and applesauce provide carbs for our brain, which is actually our preferred source of fuel. Not to mention, this little girl chose the applesauce before even eating the donuts. So if there's a silver lining to regularly serving sweets, is that she's actually less likely to grow up putting powdered donuts on a pedestal and binging on them when she gets the chance. Also, to all you concern trolls in the comment section waxing poetic about the dangers of sugar for breakfast for kids, let me just put something into perspective. 3 powdered donuts have 14 grams of sugar. A cup of Honey Nut Cheerios has basically the same amount, and a pack of Fig Newtons have even more. I'm not saying any of these are like the most nutritious breakfast choices, but if you wouldn't scream at a mom for giving her kids cereal for breakfast or a healthy bar, you can keep your precious opinions to yourself on the donuts and applesauce. Also, we don't know anything about this family situation. We don't know if this is the end of mom's food supply before shopping. We don't know about her financial access or food security status. We don't know if her daughter is super picky or if she's having like vegetables and beans for lunch. We know nothing. And you shaming this mom for her parental choice is not going to do anything to improve the health of that child. So yeah, as the great Taylor Swift would say,
I do want to say is that I used to follow Abby a lot. I used to take what she would say as gold dust. This was when she was just on YouTube, and this was years ago. This was when I was going to be training to become a dietitian. I never quite made it to dietetics because I had a baby, I had my first, and it was all a tailspin. So I basically just concluded just sport and exercise science doing my degree. But doing all of that, you do whole modules on nutrition, and I loved it. It's where I thrived, and I wanted to become a dietitian. That was what I wanted to do. And Abby was one of the few dietitians who was kind of critiquing what Freely the Banana Girl was doing, like all of these extremists diets. And I used to find it really informative and really like, yeah, a lot of the people that she was critiquing, even back when I watched her, was when she was looking at people who were like supermodels, like people who used to model, had a very vigorous routine of what they would eat. They would only eat certain things. It looked a bit too regimented, all right? That's all I'm going to say. And she would always pick apart these videos, but she wouldn't necessarily pick apart the people who would overeat, if that makes any sense. Like, she did a little bit, but not massively, because she didn't want to tread into that kind of body shaming sphere. I first heard about this after watching Michelle McDaniel's video, and this is what she had to say about it.
This woman's daughter started off right in the morning with around 20 grams of sugar. I don't watch Abby very much, but whenever I do, I get the sense that she caters more toward a body positive audience, which means you kind of steer away from talking about the dangers of obesity and just stick to the dangers of not eating at all, because then your audience will agree with you, and in America that it's clearly the bigger problem.
Mom, you're doing a great job.
I think personally, as someone who obviously is not a dietitian, this is just someone that just I'm really interested in it. I always have been. I think that's so dangerous, just to be sitting there and just to say the child's being fed so it doesn't matter. It's like you're praising the fact that the child isn't starving, but you're not actually looking into it fully. I think it's really dangerous for people who have those sorts of credentials to completely gloss over the health implications. I think the bar is well and truly on the ground, and this is just my own personal opinion. Okay, so in a comment, someone said, but on a daily basis, wouldn't doing it constantly actually outweigh the benefits of breakfast, which is, you know, eating donuts every single day? Abby Sharp says, absolutely not. Donuts every day is better than nothing. Which, yes, donuts every day is better than nothing. But once again, you're assuming the bar is on the ground. You are saying this to people who are going to take it and go, yes, well, I am just going to feed my child donuts, even though they have the capability to make other things. Donuts, muffins, pancakes, French toast. It's all the same. Who cares? They are eating. Abby says, exactly. Once again, assuming that the bar is on the ground. Is there anything the matter with any of these things? No. Occasionally, I make my kids pancakes which have chocolate chips in them. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying that could you not sit there and offer different solutions? Because if you'd actually have looked at her other videos, you would know that this is a common occurrence. I think the bar is on the floor if when you watch, you know, Alex's videos, and she's not the only one, there are plenty of TikTok mums, there are plenty of YouTube mums, you know, fat or thin, whoever, whatever, who do feed their kids like this. Like, there are tons. I think the bar is on the floor when the only thing you can say is, well, at least they're being fed. Families that have so little money that they can literally only afford rice and beans. Yes, at that point, you can go fed is best. But if you have the ability to be able to cook better for your children, I think you should. And I think just going like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter, like fed is best. I think that just lowers it. I think that just lowers it to the ground, because you are essentially just saying, well, the child isn't dying of starvation, so the parents are doing a good job. What's the last 50 years been then? of like studies and reports of things coming out saying like we have an obesity problem, we have a obesity epidemic, we have a diabetes epidemic, and it all stems from like your childhood and what you were fed then, and then your parents showing you that, and then the parents, and it's like it's generational. And so it does annoy me when you do have dietitians that come on and just go like, oh, well, you know, they're doing a good job because at least they're getting some food. I think the people that are praising any mum, like any of the mums that are online who are, you know, baiting their kids' health for likes and views and things, I don't think that should be taken lightly. Having dietitians just basically give the A-OK for kids eating like this is just, that is bar on the floor. It feels like they're selling out. And that's just what I feel. And this is from someone who has watched Abby Sharp. This has gone on such a different tone, but I followed her for years, and then I stopped following her because I noticed this pattern she was going down. You sell yourself out when you can't acknowledge the problem, the elephant in the room. You can't acknowledge that. Instead, you just go, oh, they're doing a good job because the kid's not starving. It's like, who's paying you to say this? It doesn't make any sense to me, but if you want to go down that path, then that's fine. That's pretty much all I wanted to say on this topic. There is actually a whole Reddit thread for this lady. It's called her name, basically. But yeah, go and have a little look at that if you're in any way inclined. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.